Hello, Internet! I'm Elliot the Purple-Haired Doofus, and welcome back to The House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. This guy! Today we're covering chapters 7 and 8. I hope you've read up to that point because I do not want to ruin anything for you. Chapter 7 has a group of men coming in to explore the 5-minute hallway, which we now know careens off into other rooms, and they are there to go in because Karen won't let Navitz go in. The first member that we meet is Holloway. He's kind of like the men among men sort of person. Strong and assertive and just everything that Navidson wishes he could be. And the book actually references a interview with Holloway that's at the end of the book. And so I flipped to it.
Oh, that thing? It's missing.
Yeah, the book does that. Now. It's kind of irritating. Next we have Wax Hook. Yes, the guy's name is Wax Hook. And he is like the antithesis of what Holloway is. He is skinny, he is nervous, he is frail. We also have Jed. And I can't remember anything specific about Jed, but he is with Holloway and Wax. And all three of these guys know Reston, the handicapped man, who was also called in last chapter to investigate the hallway. Navidson has a meeting with these men and describes the hallway for them. He even lays out this map that he had drawn by memory from the time that he went in when he was called out by Daisy. During this meeting, Navidson tells the guys not to tell Karen that he has been in the hallway because she is terrified of it and she doesn't want him in there at all. Fast forward, the kids are playing. You know, there's still that divide between Navidson and Karen, and we start to see that Holloway is subtly hitting on Karen, putting his hand over her shoulders, comforting her in a way that Navidson should be, and Navidson wants to, but Karen is always hanging out with one of the 4 other guys that are in the house right now. It makes a reference that Karen believed moving into this house should have brought the family closer together. One of Zampino's footnotes actually says, see more about this in a later chapter. I believe it was chapter 10. Or 11. I skipped ahead to that chapter. The only reference I could find was another footnote, so I'm not going to tell you about that chapter because it's all just spoilers. And I really wish I hadn't skipped ahead to that chapter. Since Holloway is hitting on Karen, Navy is pissed because he knows what's going on, and he knows that Karen just acts far more flirty and far more attracted to all of the other men in this house that he was supposed to have with Karen and the kids and just be a family together. He even makes reference in one of his vlog type videos and says, I would really like to break the sternum of that Holloway because he is so pissed off. Eventually we get to the point where we start going through the hallways. The first time that we go through, they have 2 spools of fishing line that span out about 2 miles each. And it takes them about 2 hours, but they take the fishing line and they go as far as they can through the hallway. The only thing that really stops them is they hear a growl. Now, Navidson believes that this growl is just the walls moving, but the men that are actually in the hallway think it's a creature that is after them. The second time they go in, they have twice as much fishing line. So now they have 8 miles worth of fishing line. They go in with more lights and batteries, setting up restore points. It takes them 8-hour workday to explore as much as they can. They realize that they still haven't reached an end. They even find a spiral staircase. They don't go down it. They decide that they need to build up more resources before they do. The third time that they go in, they think it's only going to be for another 8-hour day, but it ends up being almost 20 hours stuck in the hallway because they get legitimately lost while exploring this hallway that is nothing but blackness and darkness.
So I had this woman come over and, look over that German passage and... what's the word? You know the word I'm thinking of. Translate. Yeah, she translated it for me. And, well, after that we had sex. We had dirty, raunchy sex. And it was like, I don't know, sex. And I wrote it out, and the way that I had written it, it sounds like a third grader wrote it. Because sex. And I boned her hard. Sex.
Oh, dear God, Johnny, just shut up. No one cares about the women that you're hitting on. Ah. Karen has the idea that she's going to give a compass to the guys so that they can move around the hallway a little bit better, but she notices that her compass is broke. The dial's moving around all crazy and everything, so she goes out and she buys a new compass, brings it back, and she tries to give it to the guys again and notices that this one is broke too. And so she goes to the store a second time, she ensures that the compass works at the store, and then brings it back to the house, and we find out that compasses do not work in the house, which just builds upon the mystery of the house even more.
After my mother had left and gone to the institution, I had been jumping around from house to house, and I landed on this one house where the father there used to beat me. And I used to get in fights in school, and, well, one day I got in a really big fight, and I lost it, or broke a tooth, but it wasn't during the fight. You see, I got into the fight, and the school had called my foster father to come pick me up. And I'm in the car with him, and he's talking about how he is the leader of the household, and if I want to remain staying at that household, I have to do exactly as I'm told. Otherwise, I'm going to be a visitor to the household, and even then, I will not have the same rights as if I were his own son. And I asked him where he was taking me. He said, I'm taking you to the hospital, but not before I take you somewhere else first.
Wait, Johnny, there's more to that story. Johnny, what? You are so infuriating. You finally tell an interesting story and you end it there? Tom, Navitson's brother, is back. He is going to go into the hallway with the guys for the fourth exploration. The author, Zampino, however you say his name, I can't remember, is confusing the words exploration with operation, which leads Johnny to believe that maybe Zampino thinks that this is more of a battle than it is just a simple exploration. And that's enforced even more when Tom decides to bring a rifle along with the exploration. When Holloway asks what he's doing with that, Tom says, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Karen is in the kitchen with Wax, and they are talking over the exploration of the hallway, and Wax lets it slip that the map of the hallway was drawn by Navitson, which gives Karen the idea that Navitson went into the hallway. Wax actually makes the first move and kisses Karen on the lips. He apologizes, but then Karen kisses him back, just creating even more tension between Karen and Navitson. Which brings us to Chapter 8, where we have Reston sitting around the radios while the rest of the men, Tom included, go into the hallway. And while they're in the hallway, we have shots of Karen on the phone with her mother. She's kind of conspiring to leave the house without Navitson and bring her kids with her to her mother's place.
You know, it's interesting because in this passage he uses the word fuck. And like the whole pretense of this being like a actually well thought out, well written paper kind of flies out the window when he uses the word fuck. And I think it's really important that he uses the word fuck, because when he uses the word fuck, it really emphasizes that he wants to fuck. I mean, fuck. Really? It's a great word. fuck. Come on. Fuck. Say it with me. Fuck.
God damn it, Johnny. I don't want to know about the word fuck. I already know as much as I can about the word fuck. What I want to know about is where your foster father took you when he broke your fucking tooth. See? I can use the word fuck. Get it? Oh! Fucking Johnny. While they're in the hallway, Reston actually hears something in the walls. And it's a tap. And it's a... which is Morse code for SOS. This is even more important because the shots in the film are actually in the same pattern. Short, short, short. Long, long, long. Short, short, short. Kind of solidifying the feeling that these people need help. While they're in the hallway, Karen and Navy actually argue over whether or not Navy should go into the hallway. Navy says there's these guys and they're obviously better than I am, and I want to go in there and I want to help people and I want to do this. And Karen says, I know we need people to help us, but why does it have to be you? Navidson brings up the name Delial. At least I think I'm saying that right. D-E-L-I-A-L. No idea what that name means, but it stops Karen in her tracks. And the argument is ended right there.
You know the end of this last passage? Well, it dealt with the word so, because it's kind of a question that people ask each other when they don't think anything makes sense. And, well, my whole life kind of revolves around the word so. So. It's kind of like so and fuck should get together and fuck. So they can have another word that I can, like, call my little baby word of my life. So, fuck.
Fucking Johnny. I don't care about so, I don't care about fuck. I want to know about your tooth. Just tell us about your tooth. Even then, that's the end of our section right now. Fucking Johnny. My question to you is, what was a memorable cliffhanger for you that never got answered? The question that I had last video was, when was a memorable time that you got lost? And a memorable time for me was when I was in Kuwait awaiting orders to go into Iraq. We had an internet tent set up where we could go and check our email, but it was on like the edge of camp. I went in there and I was doing my whole internet thing. The people that I went in there with had left. So it was just me. By the time I was done, I walked out of the tent and I turned the wrong way. And this was in the middle of the night in Kuwait, and I started walking. Eventually, I was surrounded by nothing but sand. And I was really scared because I was like, this is not where I should be. I should be around tents. I should be in the famous tent city, but this is bad, right? As you know, I eventually found my way and survived, but still just walking around there in the middle of the night on quasi-dangerous ground scared the snot out of me. Tomorrow, we will only be covering Chapter 9. This may disappoint you, but trust me, it's a screwed up chapter. The only word of advice I have for you is focus. Okay? When you read it, focus. I've been the purple-haired doofus reminding you to watch your pajama radius, and I will see you all in the next chapter of House of Leaves by that guy. Toodles!